Time to Be a Hero. And hello everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. And continuing my theme for this summer, which is a salute to higher education in Louisiana, I'm wearing this Tech theme, Louisiana Tech theme Comic Hero tee, along with this hat that I bought a while back. And as y'all can see, the new comic shelf is empty, but that's not because I got here way too late. It's because it's New Comics Day, and as this episode rolls on, there are going to be some. I can tell you, this shelf is going to be filled, and but I already have a list of all the colleges that I'll be through episode 71. I can tell you what colleges that I will be covering. To this week's episode, I'm covering. Now 2 weeks ago I covered ULM. Last week I covered LSU. This week I'm covering Louisiana Tech. Next week is Grambling. Episode 70 is Northwestern State, and episode 71 is Tulane. Oh, and episode 72, and I just decided on this an hour ago. Episode 72 will be Bossier Parish Community College. So I gotta ask, any questions? All right, I only have one question this week, and it's asked by Melanie Mitchell from Shreveport, Louisiana. She asks, what's the strangest comic you have ever come across? Melanie, during my time of living, I have come across a whole bunch of different books, and they're not necessarily with DC and Marvel. There was when I was just getting into comics, I really didn't pay attention to certain publishers or anything. And there was this book that my parents bought for me because I liked it so much, called Megalith, and it talks about this teenager named Joel Majuric, and it's been after that I didn't read it anymore. A cartoon came out of that, but it only lasted I think one season. And it says here, Joe Majuric was a supremely devoted and disciplined young man who was trained and sponsored by a duplicitous organization to compete, win, and gain fame in the Olympics. When those goals were accomplished, Joe was supposed to then become an athlete for hire under the control of his benefactors. Learning of his so-called benefactors' true nature and plans, Joe refused, but soon relented when his parents' lives were held as leverage. The mistake his captors made was underestimating this son of a Polish immigrant. Joe continued to train, though secretly he trained until he attained a never-before-thought possible mind link with his body. His physical and mental abilities and faculties now enhanced to superhuman levels. Joe Majuric became Megalith, the ultimate man. That's an okay origin. But I thought that book was cool back when I was 10 or 11 years old. But yeah, it was definitely Megalith, the Ultimate Man. Because there's some superheroes that are just have some weak powers, or there's some superheroes that have like very bad personalities, and then there's superheroes that are completely over the top. I mean, heck, a lot of folks think Superman is completely over the top. I don't think he is. I mean, from a moral standpoint, he isn't. All right, that's it for any questions. Now remember, folks, I mean, it's cool if there's at least one question per week, but come on. If I had, I mean, one question per week, that's fine. 2 or more, excellent. But if you have any questions that you want to ask me for next week's episode, contact information is down there. Now then, my good friend Jake Young, who I went to college with at Louisiana Tech, wanted Hal Jordan, the Hal Jordan Green Lantern that is, and Adam Warlock to do battle in the segment I like to call DC versus Marvel. Hulk! Smash! Welcome to DC versus Marvel. Today, it's the Hal Jordan Green Lantern versus Adam Warlock. The Hal Jordan Green Lantern, as any other Green Lantern, possesses flight, semi-invulnerability, and heart-like construct generation with the use of a power ring. Adam Warlock possesses superhuman strength, stamina, agility, endurance, flight, and energy manipulation. Who will win? This would be your classic no-holds-barred space brawl. Jordan would create an assortment of constructs to hit Warlock with, and Warlock would hit Jordan with a combination of punches and energy blast. Warlock would then give everything he had and conjure up a massive energy blast towards Jordan. Jordan would then create a lead pipe construct for the blast to enter and exit. Warlock gets knocked out by his own blast and is taken by Jordan to the planet Oa to be imprisoned in a science cell. Hal Jordan wins. And that concludes this DC versus Marvel fight. Up next is Concley speaking, so without further ado, let's talk comics. Oh yeah, I'm in another segment now. But all right. First thing I want to talk about, I just got finished reading Superior Iron Man #9. This was the last issue of that book, and Pepper Potts put on her armor, and then Tony Stark's conscience from years past decided to transfer his conscience to all the other Iron Man armor that he had, and they went right after Tony Stark. He said, "I give up," but then they get back to Stark resilient. Oh, and what happens? It so happens that Tony Stark was actually hit a jump drive that has a virus to destroy all of his armor. And then he said, "Okay, I'm gonna go now." But then the character Team Abomination, who he friended earlier in the series, stopped him and said, "No, you don't get to walk away." And then Tony Stark said, "Okay, well, your mom's really not dead. She just regained consciousness at a hospital not too far from here. You may want to go see her." And he went back to his normal form. Well, and then Pepper then told him, "Oh yeah, you may have destroyed me. Remember, I own a media network because of you, and I will expose you for the scum you really are." And then at the end of that issue, it said the same thing in all the other issues of Marvel. There is only Secret Wars. So we'll find out what Iron Man turns out when in Secret Wars and after Secret Wars. All right, next up, I just got finished reading Superman Wonder Woman number 40. They defeated Gog and Cersei, and they just went back to their apartment. That's all it was. Oh, and also, I was invited to Jackson Comic-Con, which is a week and a half from now in Jackson, Mississippi. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go because of my job. Wish I could, but I got to work. But you know, I've only been to one comic book convention, and I want to go to another. I mean, it was really a lot of fun when I went to Louisiana Comic-Con a few months ago, even though it took me forever to get inside. But one thing that's definitely on my bucket list, San Diego Comic-Con International. If I could go there, I tell you, the rest of my life, I mean, I wouldn't gripe and moan about anything else going on in my life for the rest of my life. All right, that's it for Comically Speaking. So then, let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up is Deadpool's Secret Wars number 2. Now, I haven't gotten to the first one yet because I'm still trying to finish up with the now previous Deadpool series. But from what I can tell you about it, though, it actually takes place in the old Secret Wars back in 1984, and it also explains how Deadpool was Deadpool's quote unquote role in the first Secret Wars. Up next is Sinestro number 12. Same thing with this one. I'm still a little behind on it, and y'all have to bear with me when you have the life that I have, where I'm always busy and it's always and I try to squeeze in time to get caught up with reading. You understand. Okay, next up is Justice League of America number 1. This is the first issue of the book that's currently written and drawn by comic book superstar Bryan Hitch. And now Bryan Hitch, this man is amazing. I loved his artwork in the Ultimates 1 and 2. Just ceases to amaze me. And this isn't the first time that he's actually penciled Justice League of America. This is actually the second time. And I'm so pumped about reading this book. All right, up next is All New X-Men number 41. This, I think, is the last issue of All New X-Men. This is one of the books that are going to be ending for Marvel, due to Secret Wars. And I haven't read number 40 yet because I still don't have Captain Marvel number 14, which is a tie-in to not a tie-in, but part of the Black Vortex story arc. But one thing I can tell you about this book, though, this book features the 5 original X-Men. They Beast from the current time that said, okay, life sucks for us. I'm going to bring all 5 of us back, so they'll learn from our mistakes. And they ended up being stuck in during that time. One of them actually became a space pirate. All right, up next is Thor's number 1. Now, this is a miniseries that it kind of stems from Secret Wars. This is a miniseries within the Secret Wars miniseries. This actually talks about all the Thors that are guardians of their own realms on Battleworld, and it features just about every character that you can think of that's ever been Thor. And if you look close enough, you can even see that the Destroyer is also a Thor. If that's not frightening, I don't know what is. But I've always been intrigued with Thor. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, everybody.
Clint Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. And I've always been intrigued by Thor. And And it's also going to feature the current female Thor, who I revealed a few episodes ago is actually Dr. Jane Foster. All right, next up is Superman Wonder Woman number 41. This is the first issue of this book since Convergence, and in this one, it's part 3 of the miniseries of the story arc called Truth. That first got kicked off in Action Comics number 41, and then continued in Superman Batman number 41. I mean, Superman Batman number 21. Excuse me. And in this one, Superman is pretty much trying to deal with not having powers. It's even gotten to the point where he's driving a motorcycle, folks. And in this one, his and Wonder Woman's relationship get tested like never before. I mean, you'd think it was bad when they went up against both Circe and Gog. You haven't seen anything yet, folks. And up next is Wonder Woman number 41. This is now I just started. I'm almost caught up with Wonder Woman. The last I was reading, she was actually going up against Donna Troy. And this is pretty much the fallout of that. And we learn more about, Wonder Woman as the Queen of Themyscira. I hope I pronounced that. Well, I heard it pronounced Themyscira and Themyscira. But to me, Themyscira sounds a lot more correct. I don't know why.
Miss Gallifrey.
True. But anyway, we find because in Wonder Woman number 39, Batman pretty much scolds her about almost killing somebody. He said, "Remember, you may be the god of war, but you're a superhero first, and you can't go off doing that. When you're the god of war, trying not to kill somebody is easier said than done." And then finally, Robin, Son of Batman number 1. This is the first issue of Damian Wayne's new book. He's gone out on his own, and he pretty much has to because his father, Batman, aka Bruce Wayne, is considered dead. And Commissioner Gordon is now the new Batman. But anyway, I think this is going to be a great read because it's not only drawn by Patrick Gleason. It's also written by Patrick Gleason. And Patrick Gleason, I tell you, ever since he was on Aquaman many years ago, and then later on Batman and Robin, he has done absolutely nothing but deliver. All right, that's 8 I bought, which brings the total number of comics I bought since December of 1997 to 6,855. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. As I said earlier, I'm continuing my salute to higher education in Louisiana, and this week I'm paying salute to Louisiana Tech University. Now, I no longer attend that college. I'm currently at ULM here in Monroe, or for those of you who don't know, the University of Louisiana at Monroe. And but when I went to Tech for about 3 years, and it came to the conclusion that it just wasn't a right fit for me, but it wasn't exactly where I really needed to be. But I did have some good times there. I had a lot of great times. I made a lot of great friends. A lot of friendships that are still they're still strong even to this very day. But you make mistakes, and it's not so much that you make the mistake. It's because let me tell you, I made a lot of mistakes when I was at Tech. But it's not so. Like I said, it's not so much that you make them. It's only that you learn from them. And I just want to let y'all know that. And I just want to say to anyone who's kind of put off by me wearing this Tech garb, all I gotta say is get out of your feelings. With me doing the tribute to higher education in Louisiana, I'm not playing favorites. And but anyway, but for anyone who's watching, if you want your own shirt, just like mine or any any other shirt that I worn in any episode of the Comic Hero Show from episode 1 to now. The prices for adults are $12 and for children are $7. Now let's say, for example, you bought the tee. You want me to iron it on that tee. Then for adults it's $10 and for children it's $5. I mean, I made one for Clint. I made one for his girlfriend Renee. I'm also making one for one of the managers at my job, and also for an old friend I went to junior high and high school with. But anyway, once again, Clint Thomas. All right, well, anyway, I'm Victor Nunley. I'm the Comic Hero. I'm about to go ahead and pay for these books. They're all the way over there. I don't know why I left them here. But, you see, this is exactly why I love doing the show here at Clint's, because I get to screw up and not be and not feel ashamed of it, and I get to laugh about it with other folks, which has happened and will happen again. But anyway, next week, before I close, in reference to the higher education in Louisiana, next week's episode 69, episode 69, the college that I'll be paying tribute to is Grambling State University in Grambling, Louisiana. So if you're watching this and you go to Grambling State University, or you graduated from Grambling, or you know someone who's graduated from Grambling, or you're a fan of their amazing marching band, or any athletics, or even if you're faculty, you may want to watch next week's show. All right, I'm Victor Nunley. I'm the Comic Hero. I'm about to pay for these books. I'll see you next week back here at Clint's Comics. Till then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero, and LOUISIANA Tech Dogs. Thanks for watching. Saturday, June 27th. I only have one question this week, and it's asked by Melanie Meschel from Shreveport, Louisiana. Jex, what's the strangest comic you have ever come across? Melanie, let me tell you, in my 33 years on this earth, I have come up with a whole bunch of strange comics, but nothing comes stranger to me than Megalith, the Ultimate Man. I bought an issue of Megalith probably when I was about 10 or 11 years old, and I read it and I thought, what in the heck is this? Of course, Megalith is a property of the now defunct Continuity Comics, which is also the comic company that published the original Bucky O'Hare and the Tote Wars comic. Yeah, that's right, folks. Bucky O'Hare and the Tote Wars was the comic book series before it was a cartoon. But anyway, Megalith. It talks about this character, about this teenager named Joe Majurik. It says here, Joe Majurik was a supremely devoted and disciplined young man who was trained and sponsored by a duplicitous organization to compete, win, and gain fame in the Olympics. When those goals were accomplished, Joe was supposed to then become an athlete for hire under the control of his benefactors. Learning of his so-called benefactors' true nature and plans, Joe refused but soon relented when his parents' lives were held as leverage. This mistake, his cap... Dang it!